Hello friends, welcome to the Anatomy Hub. So today we'll discuss about the neuroanatomy of the ascending tracts or the sensory systems. So the sensory fibers uh, that actually reach the spinal cord, and they are sorted into different bundles they depending on their functions, and they are known as the nerve tracts or the fasciculi, means a bundle of white matter fibers, or you can say a bundle of axons inside the central nervous system that found within the spinal cord is known as your nerve tracts or fasciculi or the tracts, ascending tract. So as the name suggests, the ascending tracts of the spinal cord that ascend from the spinal cord and connect it to the brain. So these tracts, they are named based on their origin and the termination. So they are found running along the dorsal, lateral and ventral columns of the white matter. So the main role of the ascending tracts of the spinal cord is to transmit the somatosensory information to the cerebral cortex. So there are two types of afferent information that conducted by the tracts, is the exteroceptive and the proprioceptive. The exteroceptive information that comes from the body's exterior, such as the pain and the touch. In contrast, the proprioceptive information comes from the inside the body, such as the muscles and the organs. So, by the end of this lecture, you will be able to define the meaning of a tract, distinguish between the different types of tracts, locate the position of each tract, and you can describe the sensory pathway, and you can identify the different sensory spinal tracts and their functions, and finally you can identify the course of each of these tracts. So let's start here, that you can see the section of the spinal cord. So here you'll find this section, the white matter fibers, and here you'll find the gray matter. So the gray matter is the collection of cell bodies that are found within the central nervous system, is known as the gray matter. So this gray matter, it has anterior horn or the ventral horn, you have the dorsal horn or the sensory horn or the posterior horn, and here you'll find the lateral horn. So the anterior or ventral horn, that is mostly related to the motor output, and the dorsal horn, that is related to the sensory input, whereas the lateral horn, that is related to the sympathetic autonomic nervous system, means the sympathetic and the parasympathetic pathways. And here you'll find the white matters. So here you'll find the dorsal funiculus, the lateral funiculus, and the ventral funiculus, and here you'll find the ventral white commissure that joins both the side of the spinal cord. So this spinal cord, that can be divided into two halves by the dorsal median sulcus, that you can find over dorsal side, and the ventral median fissure that you can find at the anterior side. So here the gray matter of the spinal cord is completely surrounded by the white matter, which consists of the ascending fibers and the descending nerve fibers. The white matter, that is divided the dorsal, the lateral, the ventral column, or the funiculi. Funiculus is the singular. So here you will find the first the white matter tracts. So you can observe over here that the dorsal funiculi, they have two ascending pathways, is the fasciculus gracilis medially and the fasciculus cuneatus laterally. And you'll find the lateral funiculi that composed of your posterior spinocerebellar tract, the ventral spinocerebellar tract, you'll find the lateral spinothalamic tract, and the spinotectal tract, and the anterior spinocerebellar tract. And ventrally, you will find the anterior spinothalamic tract. So, the definition that of the ascending tracts or the white matter tract is known as the bundle of or the fasciculi of the fibers that occupy more or less definite positions in the white matter is known as the tracts. So they have the same origin, termination, and carry the same function. They serve to join the brain to the spinal cord, and they are classified into the short tracts. So the short tracts are the intersegmental tracts that we can find out at surrounding to the gray matter, and you'll find the long tracts. So these are the long tracts. They ascends upward up to the thalamus. They are the long tracts. So these are the sensory and afferent tracts, and you'll find also the descending tracts or the motor tracts that descends downward. So these are the long tracts. Now here you can observe the fasciculus proprius. So this fasciculus proprius is the part of your intersegmental tract that is actually present surrounding to this gray matter that you can observe. So the definition of the intersegmental tract, that the fibers that interconnect the adjacent or the distant segments of the spinal cord is known as your intersegmental tract. So the position of the intersegmental tract, they lie close to the gray matter that you can observe over here, and you'll find the ascending tracts then. So it carries the impulses from pain, thermal, tactile, muscle, joint receptors to, and this information that goes to the brain through the nerve fibers of the axons, that is known as your ascending tracts. So here you can see some of the information that eventually reaches at the conscious level, and some of the information they reaches at the unconscious level. So the conscious level means the conscious information, that means it should be reached at the cerebral cortex, where the unconscious information or that should be reached at the cerebellum, right? So some tracts they are going to the cerebellum as a subconscious tracts, and some tracts they ascends upward up to the cerebral cortex as a conscious tracts. So here we will find that there are the fasciculus gracilis, fasciculus cuneatus, lateral spinothalamic tract, anterior spinocerebellar tract, and the anterior spinothalamic tract. And you will find the spinotectal and the posterior spinocerebellar tract. So we'll focus over here the ascending tract or the sensory tracts. So here you can find out that the dorsal column tract, or you can say that dorsal column modalities that is actually present over here, that actually the two columns that we'll find over here, these are the fasciculus gracilis and the fasciculus cuneatus. So first we will see about the fasciculus gracilis, and the fasciculus cuneatus. These two actually the large ascending tracts that run on each side of the cord in the dorsal funiculi that you can observe, and separated by the posterior intermediate line, and they contain mostly the myelinated fibers, heavily myelinated fibers, and that carry the proprioception and exteroception and the vibratory sensation to the higher level. So the axons from this posterior root ganglion that enter through this dorsal root of the spinal nerve and split into two types of branches upon reaching the dorsal column. So the long ascending branches that ascends upward and mm, terminate by synapsing with the cells at the similar destinations, and the fibers can extend quite far, covering the numerous sections of the spinal cord. But the most of the long ascending fibers they ascend upward through the posterior white matter column and forming the fasciculus gracilis and the fasciculus cuneatus. So first we will see the fasciculus gracilis. The fasciculus gracilis that is found throughout the spinal cord and begins at the caudal end of the spinal cord. It comprises the long ascending fibers from the different spinal nerves which enter the spinal cord through the ipsilateral dorsal spinal root that you can observe here, including the sacral, lumbar and the lower six thoracic nerves. This fasciculus gracilis, it is present medial to the fasciculus cuneatus at upper level of the spinal cord. The first order neuron that entering through the dorsal root of the spinal nerve bring the tactile, vibratory and proprioceptive information mainly from the lower body and terminate on the second order neuron in the ipsilateral nucleus gracilis that is present at the caudal part of the medulla. So these axons of the second order neuron they ascend ventromedially as a internal arcuate fibers that you can observe here, and these fibers cross in the midline to form the medial lemniscus. Okay, so this is your medial lemniscus, and this cross tract that ascends throughout the medulla, the pons and the midbrain, and finally they terminates to the third order neurons present at the ventro-posterolateral nucleus of the thalamus. So these axons of these third order neurons then enter the posterior limb of the internal capsule and forms the corona radiata before arriving aesthetic area of the post-central gyrus of the cerebral cortex. Then you can see over here the fasciculus cuneatus. So the fasciculus cuneatus that you can observe here, that is lateral to the fasciculus gracilis, and this fasciculus cuneatus starts at the mid thoracic level lateral to the gracilis, and its fiber come from the upper thoracic and the cervical dorsal roots of the spinal cord, and it is also myelinated fibers from the dorsal root ganglion that carrying the tactile, vibratory and the proprioceptive information from the upper body that ascend ipsilaterally and terminate on the second order neurons of the nucleus cuneatus that you can find over here. And like the fasciculus gracilis, the fibers they form the internal arcuate fiber or internal arcuate fibers and the medial lemniscus after crossing the midline and terminate as the third order neurons at the ventral posterolateral nucleus of the thalamus. The third order neuron then you can find out here that carry on towards the cerebral cortex by terminating at the lateral aspect of the sensory motor cortex. So, few second order fibers from the nucleus cuneatus, they pass onto the accessory cuneatus nucleus, and from the accessory cuneatus nucleus these fibers will go towards the cerebellum as a cuneo-cerebellar tract, and the fibers are known as the external arcuate fibers. So this tract is mainly responsible for carrying the muscle joint sense information to the cerebellum. So this nucleus gracilis and the nucleus cuneatus, they are present at the level of medulla. Like that, here we will find the uh, internal arcuate fibers and how they are cross to each other, forming the medial lemniscus that crosses the pons and the medulla, and it ascends upward through the brainstem as the medial lemniscus, and the medial lemniscus that terminates in the ventral posterolateral nucleus of the thalamus, and the third order neuron of the thalamus ascends upward as a thalamocortical or the sensory radiations run in the internal capsule, and that projects towards the somatosensory cortex. Now here we will study about the spinothalamic tract that you can observe over here. So this spinothalamic tracts, they carry the pain, temperature, non-discriminative touch and the pressure information to the thalamus, and the fibers they forming the spinothalamic tracts are the different from the fibers of the dorsal white column tracts, because the cell bodies of origin they are present in the spinal gray matter over here, and the fibers they cross within the gray matter before ascending towards the thalamus. So that neurons forming the spinothalamic tracts are a heterogeneous population of cells having the variable size, shape and number in different segments in the spinal laminae. So the first we'll see the lateral spinothalamic tract. So the lateral spinothalamic tract that you can observe over here, they are actually the fibers lies lateral funiculus and medial to the ventral spinocerebellar tract that you can observe here, and it carries the pain and the temperature sensation. So these fibers they enter into the spinal cord from the posterior root ganglion and reach the posterior gray column where they divide into the ascending and the descending branches. So these branches they cross 2 to 3 segments and form the dorsolateral tract of the Lesueur. The dorsolateral tract of Lesueur is a small bundle of both myelinated and the unmyelinated fibers. Here you can observe the first order neurons of these tracts, they terminate by synapting uh, in the posterior gray column, mainly at the first lamina, at the fourth lamina, at the fifth lamina, and at the sixth lamina, with the cells of your substantia gelatinosa, mainly at the second lamina that is present. Already we have studied about this thing in our previous lecture of your spinal cord. So if you have not gone through it, please go through that, the lamina of the spinal cord, so that you can understood about the substantia gelatinosa. And the second order neurons that cross via the anterior white commissure and ascend contralaterally in the lateral funiculus of the opposite side of the spinal cord. And the somatotropic organization of these fibers are maintained throughout the extent of these fibers, and they form the they receives the information from the sacral region. They are commonly more laterally placed, while those from the upper limb and the cervical region are present medially. So similarly, the pain fibers, they lie anterior to the temperature carrying fibers. They ascending upward through the medulla oblongata, and it is accompanied by the spinotectal and the anterior spinothalamic tracts. Together they form the spinal laminiskes that you can observe over here, and the spinal laminiskes crosses the brain stem and the tegmentum of the midbrain that you can observe over here, lateral to the medial laminiskes, and it may many of the lateral spinothalamic tracts fibers they terminate by synapting into the third order neurons in the ventral posterolateral nucleus of the thalamus, which then pass through the posterior limb of the internal capsule and the corona radiata to reach the post central gyrus of the cerebral cortex. Then we will see the anterior spinothalamic tract, or known as the ventral spinothalamic tract. They are responsible for the crude touch and pressure. So fiber of this tract they ascends in the anterior and the anterolateral funiculus or funiculi. They are also somatotropical arranged such that the sacral and the lumbar fibers are lateral, while the cervical region are medial. So this tract is responsible for the pressure sensation, for the light touch, and for the crude touch. So the first order neuron of the anterior spinothalamic tract are found in the dorsal root ganglia of the spinal nerve, and the axons and dendrites of these neurons they penetrate the spinal cord near the posterior horn of the dorsal funiculus, and the dorsal funiculus is the white matter on each side of the spinal cord between the dorsal root and the posterior median sulcus. So after entering the spinal cord, the axons and the dendrites then ascend ipsilaterally for seven segments of the cord, and the second order neurons they are found between the laminae fourth and the fifth laminae, laminae fourth and sixth laminae in the posterior horn, and which is the axons of the first order neurons they terminate the posterior horn as an area of the gray matter in the dorsal part of the spinal cord. And it is important in receiving a variety of different types of the sensory information such as the vibration. So the axons of the second order neuron then pass through the narrow white commissure of the spinal cord, and this structure is a thin section of the white matter fiber then crosses the midline of the spinal cord, and it is found between the posterior gray commissure and the central canal. After crossing the narrow white uh, commissure, the axons of the second order neurons they ascend contralaterally to the anterior funiculus, forming the anterior spinothalamic tract, and the anterior funiculus is a bundle of nerve roots found between the anterior median fissure of the spine, and this tract then passes throughout the brain stem to reach the third order neurons, and these neurons are found in the ventral posterolateral nucleus of the thalamus, and projections of these neurons then enter the posterior limb of the internal capsule and the corona radiata to reach the postcentral gyrus of the brain and the cerebral cortex. So loss of crude touch sensation below the level of lesion, you will find if any tumor will be developed during their pathways. So the internal capsule is an area of white matter that is found within the cerebral hemisphere of the brain. The posterior limb of the white matter is found between the lenticular nucleus and the thalamus. So in between that, here you will find the internal capsule. In addition, the corona radiata is a sheet of white matter fibers that carries the information from the neurons to and from the cerebral cortex. Then here you will find the spinocerebellar tract. So the spinocerebellar tract, they are in two in number, that is posterior spinocerebellar tract and the anterior spinocerebellar tract. So that ascending pathways that carry the impulses to a subconscious level are represented by the spinocerebellar tract. So that may be the dorsal spinocerebellar tract and that may be the ventral spinocerebellar tract. So this uncrossed tract that ascends in the posterolateral aspect of the spinal cord and begins in the level of your L2 L3 segment, and this tract carries the information from the muscle spindles, Golgi tendons, organs and the pressure receptors, and the carried sensation are mainly the proprioception and the cutaneous touch and pressure information from the lower limb and the trunk, and the first order neuron entering in from the posterior root of the ganglion, dorsal root ganglion, that terminate by synapting with the second order neuron in the posterior gray column of the spinal cord, and this group of neurons is called as the nucleus dorsalis, or you can say the Clark's nucleus. So that located at the seventh lamina in the cord segment from the C8 to T1 through the L2 to L3. So both tracts they carry the information derived from the muscle spindles, Golgi tendons and the tactile receptors to the cerebellum for the control of posture, coordination and the movement. So here we will see the pathways, the how the fibers they reach at the cerebellum. So the fibers they ascend in the posterolateral part of the lateral funiculus that you can observe here, and that is lateral to the corticospinal tract. So on reaching the medulla at the so the spinocerebellar system that consists of a sequence of only two neurons, that is the first order neuron, that is the large cell of the dorsal root ganglia, and the second order neuron, that is the cells of the nucleus dorsalis or the Clark's nucleus. So both the spinocerebellar tracts they contain the second order neuron. The tract neurons terminates directly in the cerebellar cortex. So on the reaching the cerebellar cortex, on the reaching the medulla, it is the incorporated in the inferior cerebellar peduncle and enters the cerebellum, and it terminates in the dorsal and the caudal part of the vermis. In the dorsal part, the fibers mainly end in the information related to muscle tendons and muscle and joint movement is used by the cerebellum to coordinate the limb movements and the posture maintenance. So first we will see the dorsal spinocerebellar tract. So the dorsal spinocerebellar tract they ascends upward inside the your spinal cord and reaches at the medulla and at the inferior cerebellar peduncle. Through that it reaches at the cerebellum. So the axons ascend ipsilaterally to enter the cerebellum through the inferior cerebellar peduncle, and the ventral or the indirect spinocerebellar tract, that is actually it has a twist, you can say, because here the anterior spinocerebellar tract, like the posterior spinocerebellar tract, it is involved in carrying the unconscious and the proprioception from the lower limb, and the second order neurons are the spinal borders cells from the nucleus uh, located in the periphery of the ventral horn, and neurons located in the fifth and to seventh lamina in the cord segments of the L1 and below to that. So the large number of tract fibers they cross in the ventral white commissure and ascend in the lateral white matter that you can observe over here. And just ventral to the posterior spinocerebellar tract. So after passing through the medulla and the pons, it exits the brainstem via the superior cerebellar peduncle and terminates in the vermal and paravermal regions of the cerebellum that you can observe here. So the tract fibers become ipsilateral by decussing again within the white matter of the cerebellum and terminate in the cerebral hemisphere fibers of anterior spinocerebellar tract. They are less numerous than those of the posterior spinocerebellar tract. Like that, you will find the spinotectal, spino-olivary tracts. So the spino-reticular tracts. So the spino-olivary tract, the fibers of this tract they rise all levels of the spinal cord and are somatotropically organized, and these fibers they actually takes the information from the cutaneous and the proprioception organs, and the second order neurons are present in the posterior gray column, and the axons cross the midline and ascends in the anterior and lateral white columns, more precisely at the intersection between the two columns They end by synapting with the inferior olivary nucleus or olivary nucleus in the medulla oblongata, and the axons of the third order neurons, they cross the midline and enter the cerebellum via the inferior cerebellar peduncle, and they contribute to the coordination and associated primarily with the balance. Like that, we will find the spinotactile tracts. So the spinotactile tracts that you can observe over here, the fibers of this cross tract, they ascends in the anterolateral part of the spinal cord closely to the spinothalamic tract, and the functional significance, that is, the functional significance is not very well known, but the evidence suggests that they are involved in the transmitting the nociceptive information and facilitation of the reflexive head movement towards the noxious stimuli. The second order neuron are present in the laminae first to fifth of the posterior horn, and the fibers cross and ascend anterolateral white columns on the reaching the level of the midbrain. So they project medially into the intermediate and deep layers of the superior colliculus and the lateral region of the periaqueductal gray matter. So in this contralateral superior colliculus, they terminate somatotropically. Like that, we will find the spino-reticular tracts, and these fibers of the tract, they ascend in the anterolateral part of the spinal cord and reach the widespread region of the brainstem of the reticular formation. It runs parallel to the spinothalamic tract up to the brainstem, and these fibers are concerned with the behavioral awareness and the modification of the motor and the sensory activity. The cell bodies of second order neurons, they lie in the intermediate gray matter. So these fibers, they ascend mostly uncrossed and terminate chiefly upon cells of the reticular formation in the medulla oblongata, in the pons, and in the midbrain. So the lateral reticular nucleus of the medulla, they project some of the fibers of specific portion of the cerebellum, showing that some fibers have their involvement in the transmission of the exteroceptive impulse to cerebellum, and the spinoreticular fibers, they passing to the pontine levels, are distributed bilaterally but are less numerous than those terminating in the medulla. A small number of fibers are found in the region of the midbrain also. So friends, here we have completed the ascending tracts whole of the chapter. So hope you got good information about the ascending tracts. So thanks for watching. Please like, share and subscribe, and don't forget to press the bell icon. Thank you.